Today is October 31st. It is 3:50 p.m. Guess who is about to start outlining the book that I start writing tomorrow? About to jump on a call with my friend Brooke, and we're gonna try and hold each other accountable to outlining our books today. Wish me luck. This quick and dirty little outlining session actually went really well. And so now I have my 3 pages of outlining, and no, they're not complete pages or anything. I skipped some lines in there, but I have these 3 pages. I'm not sure if I'm gonna type them up or not, or if I just wanna leave them written down on paper, because then I can scribble in other things and I can like add and adjust and tweak, and like none of this is set in stone. It's just kind of something that I can start to follow along with, because I really don't identify as a plotter most of the time. I really identify more as like a pantser or like a headlights writer, where I know the gist of the story, I know roughly how I'm gonna write to the next scene, and then kind of like just keep writing and flying by the seat of my pants and just trying to figure out the story as I'm going. And I think that the only reason that I really wanted to plot this one is because I've already written it, or that I've already tried to write it, and it just had a couple issues and everything. So as I'm going, I will still have plenty of space within the story to be pantsing. All right, so right now it's 11:59 on October 31st, which means that November and NaNoWriMo will officially begin. And there we are. All right, here is my writing motivation board for a little bit of motivation. I'm trying to debate between immediately starting to write or whether or not I should work on something else that I need to do for a little bit, for like an hour, and then sit down and write like a couple pages, which is probably the smart business decision. And so I think that's what I'm gonna end up doing, but it is officially NaNoWriMo now. It has finally begun. I just finished, and I say just finished as in I started outlining today and I finished outlining today. So thankfully that has been taken care of, so now I'm feeling better about the plot of this story. I have already written this story, it just didn't have much of a plot, so I'm scrapping all of that and rewriting it. Okay, now I'm getting this YouTube video scheduled to go up tomorrow morning, and it is my last minute outlining, so let's hit done, and then this will be ready to go. I don't know why my screen is so dirty, sorry. I also changed my shirt because I filmed a couple reels, so we're just gonna save that YouTube video to go live tomorrow morning, which is great. Now I want to do a little bit of Fiverr reading. I'm honestly not sure if I'm gonna get around to writing tonight or not, but that's okay. We're gonna do some Fiverr reading and then try to go to bed at a decent time, because I will be time zone jumping here in a couple days to an earlier time zone when I have been waking up at like 1 to 2 p.m. here. So I need to work on that a little bit too. And that might take higher priority than me writing tonight, but I'm really not worried about writing this nano. I know that I'm gonna get it done. I know that I've done it before. I know that I will do it again. And so I'm very much looking forward to this nano. I might still, but like I want to get some more work done on my Fiverr order. So that's the agenda so far for tonight. I don't think I've talked to you guys yet today, but now it is 4:30 p.m. I have actually been very productive so far today, but I have not actually started writing. What I have done, however, is posted and promoted that YouTube video that I had go live today, as well as spend some time answering some comments that were left on that video. And then when I was still in bed for about an hour and a half, an hour and 45 this morning, technically, slash like early afternoon, I spent finishing up a Fiverr order and then got that Fiverr order returned. And then because it's the first of the month, I sat down and got started on my money date, which is basically when I sit down to pay bills, check in with all of my finances, make sure that I wasn't overcharged for anything, and just to double check that there were no fraudulent charges made to any of my cards or accounts. And then I take note of where everything is sitting. And I think that this is especially helpful for me now because I'm working for myself, to just make sure that I'm keeping track of the money that's coming in and the money that I'm spending, just to make sure that I'm staying good and staying positive. And then after I did that, I made some breakfast, and then I spent some time getting ready to sit down and film a YouTube video, which is now what I'm about to do. Yes, it is 4:30. No, I have not started writing today yet. I'm not worried about it. Today is pretty busy, and I will be leaving town here in a couple days, and so I'm trying to get ahead on a lot of things before I go out of town, just so that I have YouTube videos filmed and ready to be uploaded, etc., etc. I want to make sure that I have plenty of Instagram reels done, so I'm just trying to get ahead of some things before I leave leave town. However, I do think that after I film a podcast episode later today with somebody, which I'm very much looking forward to, and after I watch Bachelor in Paradise with one of my friends later this evening, that I will have plenty of time to sit down and write. I also want to go to the grocery store at some point, so I'm just trying to like knock a bunch of things off my list before I sit down to write. Last night, that was not my thought process, but today I'm pretty confident in that decision. I'm just trying to be nice to myself because I know that I'll be leaving town. So with that, I'm now going to sit down and film this video, and then I will talk to you guys shortly. Okay, got that video done. That is all good to go now. I had a great time sitting and filming it. It only took me like half an hour, and then I can rough chop that video tonight when I am watching Bachelor in Paradise, which is good because it helps me legitimize sitting down to watch trashy TV if I can also be doing something somewhat productive like rough chopping a video while I'm doing that. Okay, so I'm sitting here and I'm watching this interview, and listen to what Mr. Beast says.
But he's obsessed with storytelling. That's all he ever talks about. So it's fun. I talk to him like a couple times a year, and every time I do, he just brain dumps me on like a million things he's learned. But he recommended a book called Save the Cat, which is kind of a book about that. I won't go in depth, but if you want to know more about storytelling, I thought that was pretty cool.
Is Save the Cat like Mr. Beast approved? For YouTube storytelling, not only like novel storytelling. That's so sick. Anyways, it's now 10:49 p.m. I am watching this interview as well as eating a snack. I need to do my dishes. I need to clean my kitchen. I have not yet started writing, but I did end up having a really fun time recording that podcast. I had not yet talked to Entirely Bonkers on YouTube and Instagram. That's what her name is, until we recorded this podcast, and I thought it was like so much fun, and like she was asking me questions about my NaNoWriMo experience. And then as soon as she posted it, she referred to me as having a lot of experience with NaNoWriMo. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like that gives me like maybe more credit than I need. But I thought that was like so fun, so sweet of her. Very nice to meet her. And then I watched Bachelor in Paradise. I am eating strawberries and chocolate right now. Chocolate fuels me for writing. And so we're trying to get pumped up a little bit. I'm really enjoying watching this interview with Mr. Beast and the YouTube director of product management. So I'm probably gonna watch this until we hit 11 p.m. and then I'm gonna try and start writing. Okay, I am gonna be completely honest. I have been fully procrastinating this. I think I'm nervous. I actually think I'm nervous. I'm kind of dreading starting because I know that as soon as I start, then I'm fully committed to Nano, and then I need to be doing a ton of words a day, especially with the idea of taking 2 trips during November. I don't know how many days I'm feasibly gonna be able to write. I was hoping to get 10K in the first 3 days. Considering that it is 1:10 in the morning on the first night and I still am at 0 words, it's probably not looking super likely for me. Well, that's not true. I could still do it within the next 2 days. As long as I write earlier on in the day, I think I will be totally fine. That's just one of those things where I just actually have to do it. So I'm gonna force myself to sit down and start writing. I need to just open up a document. That I can do while I'm still talking to you guys. All right, a blank document. I think there's something so scary about a blank page and the fact that I haven't drafted something in a while, and I know that I've technically already drafted this story and then I'm just scrapping the majority of it to start rewriting it. But I have my outline from my super last minute outlining process that I did last night, and I just need to start. Okay, it's 1:11. That's an angel number. Let's just start. Why am I nervous? I've done this so many times. I've written 5 books. I've done Nano 4 times. I've won Nano once technically, and then the second time in 32 days instead of the 30. Why am I nervous? I honestly don't recognize this feeling. Might have to talk to my therapist tomorrow about it. I have nervous energy. We're already technically on November 2nd because it's after midnight tonight. I haven't freaking written anything yet. I'm also still trying to fix my sleep schedule a little bit so that I can go to New York soon. So, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, if I stop filming myself and I switch this over to a time lapse, I'm gonna have to write, so that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, it is now 1:45, meaning that I did just about 30 minutes, and I ended up writing 1,006 words. So I would say that was pretty solid. As soon as I started writing, I was fine. I was just really freaked out about the starting part, I think. As soon as I started writing, I was remembering some of my drafting techniques that I've used in the past, which include things like using a less serious font. In this case, I'm using Comic Sans. I have written a lot in Comic Sans in the past. It feels just easier. I think it's because it feels less formal. So I switched over to Comic Sans. That seemed to help get me out of my head a little bit. And then I switched the font color from black to blue because I remember that I've done that in the past too, where like for different writing sprints, because that's normally how I do NaNoWriMo, is a bunch of different writing sprints throughout the days, where I will do one writing sprint in one color, and then when I get to the next writing sprint, I'll write that in a different color. So next I would do like orange or red or something along those lines, just so there's a visual difference on the page so that I'm still making visual progress without it being black text, because again, black text feels more serious. And then as soon as I did those two things, it seemed to speed up, and I kind of just went for 30 minutes, which is amazing, and how I got to 1,000 words in 30 minutes. I also feel good about the opening I just wrote. I'm also 1/50th of the way into NaNoWriMo now. That's fun. But I feel really good about the opening that I just wrote. And I think it's because I recently enough reread the draft that I wrote in high school, which is the one that I completely scrapped because it was all over the place, and I made a video about it if you want to hear me talk about that more. But this was such a stronger opening, and I think it's because I know so much more about the character and the world that I'm feeling really strong in this right now. So like this Nano might be great. And I'm kind of in a weird place because I could totally keep writing right now because it is 1:48 a.m. and going to bed would be smart at some point in time. But I also think that because I know that productive breaks are really good for me in writing, and because I don't want to burn myself out, that I should probably stand up and go do my dishes or something and clean up my kitchen a little bit just for like 15 minutes or so, and then come back and do one more writing sprint and then potentially go to bed just because it is getting really late, just because I don't want to burn out on the first day by just pushing through and like continuing to write. So I'm gonna get up and do that, but I am in awe right now. But now it's not a blank page anymore, so I don't need to worry about blank page syndrome anymore, which is a lifesaver. Earlier today, I also started a new playlist for LRF, which is the project that I'm working on for Nano. And I think it only has like 2 songs on it right now. And obviously it's updated from the original playlist and everything because we're only at 2 songs, but they're 2 songs that I heard for the first time today. And so while I'm working on my dishes, I'm gonna just play some music because I can't write to music. But when I'm not writing and I'm doing a productive break or something, which is where I'm keeping my hands busy with another productive task but keeping my brain open, I think it's going to be really helpful to get more into the mood of the story and really start like getting myself excited about Nano and the writing that's to come. So that's the plan. It is now 2:37 a.m. I just finished doing my dishes and cleaning most of my kitchen. I've had several thoughts while I've been cleaning, and one of them is totally forgot how productive I am when I'm taking my productive breaks. I get so much writing done, I get so much cleaning done. I also was having the realization of how much I missed writing. Like, oh my gosh, I realized that like I really haven't gotten a ton of writing done since I started working for myself, and even before that, honestly, just because I was transitioning and then I was getting into the group of working for myself, and then I was out of town a bunch, and I'm still just trying to like settle into working for myself. But oh my gosh, I missed this. And again, it's 2:38 a.m. So when I was also having a thought process while I was like jamming out to some music, by the way, the playlist now has 4, maybe 5 songs, I need to check on that I am way too wound up right now to go to bed. Like I am so pumped. That writing sprint felt so freaking good that I just want to keep writing. And then I had the other realization of, you've worked for yourself for 2 months now. You can stay up and write. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I can. I'm also getting like excited delusional, and I love being delusional, especially when I'm getting to write and like do stuff like this. But the earliest thing that I have to do tomorrow is my therapy appointment at noon. And so like I could stay up and write for a while, because as long as I'm awake for that and it's virtual, so I can like literally roll out of bed and then have that appointment, that I can stay up and write right now. So it's 2:39, we're about to hit 2:40, I'm gonna start another writing sprint. Just did a 20-minute sprint with 691 more words, which means that I just passed the suggested daily word count if you were to write 50,000 words across all 30 days, which I am hoping to get ahead of because I really think that I will probably have a couple 0-word days or lower word days based on years past. However, I am feeling right now at 3:05 a.m. that it is a good time for me to get up, do a little bit more cleaning, and then try to hit 2,000 words tonight, and then I can call it. I have said many nanos before that chocolate chip pancakes help me me with writing, and I have a couple in the freezer right now, so I'm gonna pop it in and toast it as a little writing snack. I was listening a little bit to the new Taylor Swift album, and it slaps. I can't say the second word of the song, but Vigilante blank is so good. I've been playing that on repeat now for a little bit. That is one of the songs in the playlist that I have been developing as of today. Also, I'm out of knives, so I'm doing this with a spoon and it is not working very well. So that's fun. Should have done that differently. Oh well, deal with it later. I just checked the weather. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, like all day tomorrow. The writing gods are just like blessing me right now. I'm not sure if I'm gonna end up putting this in the video or not, but it's kind of amazing how far of like an emotional roller coaster I've been on in the last couple of days, because on October 30th, I was really upset about some things and life was just feeling like really, really heavy. And then today I'm like stoked to be writing again, and I was like so excited, and I still am excited. I'm just getting a little tired. I was honestly really worried about starting Nano and how that would affect my NaNoWriMo and my writing and how I felt about writing during the month of November, because that happened like again on October 30th. So like 2 days, but realistically like 1 full day before NaNoWriMo started. And I am feeling really, really good that that feeling didn't last for too long. I know I'm being super cryptic, but it is amazing how much of an emotional roller coaster the past couple days have been. And I think the moral of the story is I'm really, really, really happy to be writing again. I'm not really sure what time it is, so I have to get out of focus mode and check the time. It is now 4:13 or 14 a.m. So after a roughly 30-minute sprint, I am now sitting at 2,656 words. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. It's also, you know, after 4 a.m., but I work for myself now, so I can do stuff like this, and my therapist will understand in the morning when I tell her. That's amazing, especially with how late I started. Like, I didn't start writing until like 1:15 this morning. That turned out to be an absolutely incredible writing session. And granted, if it was earlier on in the day, I could probably keep going. I think this might be the key for me for Nano, is rewriting a book that I'm already familiar with the characters on. Because I already have a full image of what's happening in the story, and I'm just rewriting it so much better than it was written the first time. In all 3 of the sprints that I ended up doing tonight, I did catch myself going back to edit things that I had previously written tonight, and like changing word choice or like editing something, or being like, oh, I should add like more like senses or something. I'd like more description here in parentheses or something. I had to keep stopping myself and telling myself like, okay, I can leave a parentheses section of something I'd like to add later, but right now is not the time to add it necessarily, unless it's adding like another paragraph or something in between something else. Because going back and editing while I'm writing is one of the biggest things that slows me down when I'm writing. And it's also one of the biggest tips that I have for other people doing Nano, is to not edit while you write. So I'm trying to listen to my own advice here. I also found myself checking off a couple of the bullet points on my outline as I was writing them, which was also very satisfying to show that kind of progress. And then one of the last things I wanted to mention before I end up going to bed tonight is that a couple weeks ago, when I was in Bryce National Park with one of my friends, we were sitting at dinner and playing around with like an AI art website, and he asked me if I had any ideas of what we should have the AI create as art. And he was like, is there anything from one of your books that would, you know, translate well into AI art? And I thought about it for a second, and then I kind of described to him something in this book that I just got to write about. So as I was writing the description for it, I was thinking about that image that we had done with AI art, and that helped me so clearly visualize it, which made writing it so much easier. And like, that's just so cool that like that's an option. So before I forget, I am going to back up this document, just because that would suck to lose it. And this is also a friendly reminder to back up your work, especially for something like this. I have lost words before, and it is literally one of the worst feelings. I'm sure there are way worse feelings, but you know, theoretically, in the grand scheme of things, it still sucks. So please back up your work. This is your friendly reminder. And so with that, after day 1, I am currently sitting at 2,656 words for NaNoWriMo 2022. So that was my start to NaNoWriMo. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm currently in New York, which is the next video that you guys will be seeing from me. If you liked this one, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, because that really supports my channel, and make sure you hit subscribe so you can stay tuned for all of my future writing vlogs. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.